Hi everyone. Um, so I had an encounter with the shadow people. I work with spirit, and spirit to me is everything that exists. So whether you call them ghosts, you call them shadow, you call them angels, they are different manifestation of spirit at different dimension. So I do not label anything based on the stories that have been passed down, because there's a lot of noise in the truths, and that's the problem itself. And my calling is to help to enlighten people regarding those stories. Pick the truths and separate the noise from the truth. So the shadow people, have been working very closely with them recently. Of course, not working with them as a shadow directly. I work with spirit, and I observe in the subliminal, in not the subliminal, the dream space. I dream walk, and they manifest in the physical. So I already know when I have to work with them in the physical through my clients. Let me tell you how the shadow people work. The shadow people are aspects of you that you are unconscious about. They could be aspects of your ancestors, aspects of a particular place that interact with you. Remember, you will not experience any spirit that you do not have, because in order for spirit to manifest, it has to already have the same image. It's almost like there has to be a 1 plus a 0 for it to manifest in the physical world. Now, how does the shadow people, how do they work? How do they influence us? Because we are in a macrocosm where we influence each other. Spirits influence us. How do they work? In a way that they are the cosmic teachers. They teach us lessons about life in the most unpleasant way. So let me give you an example of some of my clients that I've worked with, and how the shadow people manifest in their lives, and also in my life, because I've had to face them before I can heal people from this. So I had a conversation with someone who recently quit his job, and he's been frustrated. He's had a lot of rejections regarding his workplace. He's had to quit sometimes out of anger. And I said, why did you quit? And he said, well, there's just so much politics there. I said, please explain. He said that usually in meetings, there was someone who is subordinate to him, not his superior, who would challenge him every time and look down like he was below them. And he sensed, I really want to emphasize the word sense, because the way the shadow people will work, they will play on our minds. And playing on your minds does not mean that it's not true. It can be true, because remember that we need the third eye to project into this world. And so it's almost like I sense something, and then you get confirmations that what you're sensing, the unpleasant situation, is real, actually. So I'm not saying in any way it's not real, but they usually come more with sensing. I've had to work with people who imagine things, and they are influenced by the imagination. So the question is, what you sense, what can you do about it? So I said, so what do you sense? I sense that they were trying to put me out of the company. They were trying to replace me with him. And so I said, so what did you do? And so I quit. I quit. I couldn't bear that anymore. Now, I understand the emotional response, the feelings he felt about, in the situation, that he is not respected. That's one of the way the shadow people work. They put situations in your presence to tell you the truth that you've been denying. That you are not respected. And it's not them that doesn't respect him. It's him. And he was supposed to learn that people can, because there was something about hierarchy. that he was emphasizing. There was something about race he was emphasizing, and it was so obvious. When you work with me, your shadow will come out. You cannot deny it, because that's my contract with the shadow. And he already had this in the back of his mind, and he was playing his reality. And did you notice how he ended up doing the same thing that he thought they wanted him to do? That's counterproductive, wouldn't that sound? Yes, that's how the shadow people work. The very things you're afraid of is the same thing that will become your reality. Because rather than seeing it as a place, as an opportunity to, number one, learn the importance of that hierarchy doesn't matter. Hierarchy, the differences in skin, doesn't matter. And even if other people think that matters, I know that I have something to offer beyond my skin, beyond beyond whatever I may think is the category or the currency for self-respect. And there's also another thing for him to also see as an opportunity. That was also an opportunity to exert his authority. Respect is not a title. Respect is earned. And this is an opportunity for him to earn that respect. And the way they were presenting the opportunity was an opportunity for him to earn it by listening, allowing that person to speak. Because in reality, that person may not have wanted him to go down. That person may not have really wanted to disrespect him. But he would start reinforcing the behavior that actually then leads to this disrespect, because the truth exists here. And he was acting in a way that I don't have respect. I don't respect myself. I am not being respected, because his currency for respect was wrong. And then he'd start behaving in a way that warranted them to disrespect him. Do you notice how counterproductive that seems? That's how the shadow people works. And I had to ask that, how many times in your life have emotions driven you to the point that you misread a situation, or when you even read it correctly, you feel powerless? And that has been a challenge over and over and over. And it's been a music he's been dancing to unconsciously. But the day he starts to become conscious, that's the day he transmutes that shadow. And those shadows could be the shadow of hierarchy, the shadow of the differences in race, the shadow of what it means to really be a leader. It's different from what he's been taught before. And now it's time for him to see what it really means. I gave that example because somebody has the same shadow and you feel like, I don't know why people do not listen to me. Well, they don't listen because you don't even listen to yourself, because you haven't yet embraced the reality that what you're saying has value. And sometimes it's okay for it to be misunderstood. That does not define your words. If it's misunderstood, the question is, what can you do about it? Now, I'm going to use another example about someone who I worked with also, and she one of the ways our relationship started falling apart was she had feelings for someone, and then she told her boyfriend about it. Now, she was surprised that nothing happened. He didn't get moved. Nothing. But then he got closer to the same person that she had feelings for. And then she started suspecting that he was in a relationship with him. And then she started going, the shadow people started oppressing her mentally. and until the relationship ended, and still they were still beating her. I saw it in the spirit world. She came, I had to somehow, I connected to our world, our dream space. I walked into it. Of course she connected with me. I wasn't really ready to do a reading then for her, but she really needed this, and she walked into, and she found a way to connect with me that was undeniable. She just came. Her shadows came to my dream space, and I had to work with her. Correctly. Now, one of the shadow spoke, and this is not new. This is a shadow that is collective, and it's a shadow that lets you think that when you're in a relationship, you do not have a right to have feelings for another person. That is not true. And the more that she suppresses that truth, the more it starts to control her. And suddenly, she felt she owed our partner that information for a relationship that was not formed. She felt she was betraying her partner, but it's because she doesn't understand the quality of relationship she had with her partner. She wasn't even sure about it, because if you do, why would having feelings for another person be a betrayal? You didn't do anything. And it's also about understanding our right, our own power to hold our truth. Now, this is not conventional. You do not owe your partner your thoughts. Because the moment you feel that you have to explain your thoughts to your partner, you have lost your own sense of identity. You are choosing your partner over you, and that's not the intention of a relationship. A relationship is supposed to come from an empowered place. And so, that started the ripple effect. And the shadow people, they love that. Oh, you fell for the bait. They will keep coming because there's a lesson for you to learn. They saw that as an opportunity to teach her a lesson. You're choosing your partner over yourself? Okay. We're going to teach you a lesson. You matter. Because, and it happened that person got so, I know I'm not in any way judging this person, because I have been there. I do not face anyone's shadow that I have not been there. Trust me, I have been there. I've been in a place. I know what that means. Where you're so obsessed with understanding, did this person cheat on me or not? And you cannot move forward because somehow you felt that you did something. This is your truth. I am not allowed to think. I'm not allowed to lust over someone without telling my partner. And they will try to teach you that people are allowed to have affections. Some would even go to the point of exploiting it, and that's their reality. And they don't owe you a dime of explanation for why they do something, why they love something, why they want something, and you will get obsessed until you come to understand that their reality is not your reality. But what can you do about the situation? That's the question. You may never understand why your boyfriend left you, why he cheated on you. Maybe because you felt you couldn't do that. It's your choice, but that's not the other person's choice. And the person is allowed to not choose it. Because they told me something. They said, in those days, when you're in a relationship with someone, you are allowed to be in a relationship with another person. And it's okay. What is right and wrong is subjective. There are people that are in polygamous relationships, the LD ones, not the ones based on inferiority or disempowered, where they know that they are individuals and they've come to embrace their shadows. Yes, but just because you feel it's wrong does not mean that truth will not express itself in another person, even if it's in the unhealthy way. So, I'm sorry. This is how spirit works with me. They do not take sides with things. They are only concerned about the truth. And this is where I come into place. This is why I come into place by putting the affection, because I understand what it is to be at that side, being laughed by them for a lesson that I needed to learn in order to move towards my destiny. And it's amazing how these shadows, they position you to those relationships. It's all a setup for those years, the 10 years, whatever year, number of years you were stuck in that relationship. It was all orchestrated. All orchestrated to take you to that point where you suddenly see, oh, you were dancing to a music all along. Because your soul, your evolution, the evolution of your soul is much more important to them than how your reality looks like. And the moment you learn and your soul evolves, instantly it looks like magic. You move. Some of the relationships will get restored. Something better will come. You've transmuted that shadow because you've come to realize that you cannot control people. You can only influence, but the person you can control is yourself. And that means that at that moment, I told that lady, at that moment, they wanted you to not say anything because you've come to accept that, yes, I have feelings for someone. However, I have a choice. What am I going to do about it? And as long as I didn't do anything wrong, I don't need to owe anybody any explanation because it's not the person I'm trying to convince. It's me I'm trying to convince. That person is just an excuse. So you were not honest with that person. You were not. You were just trying to be honest to yourself, which wasn't your own honesty, if you admit. Because you were not honest with the fact that, yes, you can fall in love with somebody else, but it's about what you do. Are you in charge of your emotions? And even if you decide to do anything about it, you owe no one. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm sworn to the truth. You owe no one any explanation for leaving a relationship. Because you are either someone's karma or someone's dharma. And when you're trying to please other people, you will not please yourself. And at the same time, you can still please yourself and please other people. You still choose. And sometimes, when you do not please the other person, can you trust that they are also going to learn their lessons? Because trust me, if that person has it all right, the spirit will teach you what to do in a balanced way. So, guys. Oh, I know my truth is a little bit controversial, but this is only for a very select group of people who needs to hear this message. How are you working with the shadow people? Are you being influenced by them, or are they controlling you? Or are you trying to control them? Thank you for watching.